Friends, welcome to episode 6 of our Let's Build project for the yet to be announced Need for Speed Arena 2017, where I cheekily take on the role of developer and basically build Need for Speed 2017 in my own vision. You could call it a wish list, but it's more like a conceptual proposal. You see, what I've done is break down the game into the key components required for making an open world racing title, and then design my own blueprint for each element. In week 1, we discussed my proposed idea for a replayable storyline, with the aim of extending longevity in single player mode, thus giving you better value for your money. In week 2, I presented to you my idea for how the multiplayer section of the game would work if I was helping put it together. We discussed the idea of car clubs including JDM, Muscle and Exotics. The third week, we covered a sample of my car list, where I basically spoke about and gave reasoning behind 15 cars that would make the cut for my final game. Week 4 was dedicated to the map. I gave you a presentation on my chosen country, the city, and then all of the areas, locations and sections that will make up the map itself. A great episode which is definitely worth the watch. Week 5, which was last week, we covered customization. I put forward my blueprint, my proposal, my idea for a radically improved customization system with an extra 25 part categories and an additional 5 body kit specialists. Check that out as soon as you finish watching this episode and tell me what your thoughts are on those custom parts. Links to all episodes can be found in the description box, so be sure to check them out. So, without further ado, let's build Need for Speed Arena 2017. Episode 6, Tuning. So when I put these episodes together, I always start off by researching the subject matter in question in order to give myself a better idea of how I can improve that chosen element. I separate the good from the bad points, which enables me to see what I perceive to be improvement opportunities. The problem with tuning is that Need for Speed 2015 was actually pretty good. In my mind, if I was a games developer for an open world arcade racer, you have to achieve a balancing act between those who are car experts and those who are just casual car fans, because open world racers attract both sets of audiences, hence why they sell more copies than simulation based games. For this reason, I cannot stress this enough, it is absolutely critical that the tuning system caters to both audiences. I'm pleased to say Ghost hit the nail on the head with this objective. In fact, when I went back to inspect the tuning options, I realised they had done a better job than I first thought, simply by providing 2 options. The first being the Master Slider, which allows casual players or those with lesser knowledge of tuning to get a general drift, grip or balance build within seconds by simply moving the slider towards the desired positioning. The second was more of a deep dive into individual tuning options that you could adjust independently to get your car set up closer to your desired choice. It was more technical and was aimed at people who had a better understanding of how a car works and what effect each tuning option had on the handling characteristics of the car. These tunable options were Tyre Pressure, Steer Response, Steer Range, Braking Drift Assist, Drift Stability Assist, Launch Control, Differential, Downforce, Brake Strength, Brake Bias, Tyre Traction, Handbrake Strength, Spring Stiffness, Sway Bars, and of course Nitros or NOS. That seems like a very extensive list, and that's because it actually is. But this wouldn't be the Let's Build project if I didn't try to improve it. I have proposed 2 ideas. The first, similar to what we talked about in last week's customization episode, link to that is in the top right hand corner, is to add more tunable parts to the list. These will be weight reduction. Depending on the car you are tuning, you'll have the option of swapping every panel on the car's exterior as well as some of the interior with parts that are lighter in weight. The two material choices will be carbon fiber. Carbon fiber is composed of carbon atoms bonded together to form a long chain. It is basically very thin strands of carbon, even thinner than human hair. The strands can be twisted together like yarn. The yarns can be woven together like cloth. These cloths and yarns can be molded and bonded together into any shape desired. This bond is formed by using heat and pressure, combining the fiber with a plastic or polymer. Carbon fiber is 5 times as strong as steel, 2 times as stiff, yet weighs about 2/3 less. Carbon fiber has slowly made its way into multiple industries, replacing metal in certain applications. Fiberglass. Fiberglass is composed of melted glass that has been extruded through bushings. This produces a string-like material. This string is then woven into yarn, and the yarn into cloth. Fiberglass is similar to carbon fiber in strength and weight, but is slightly more flexible than carbon fiber. So those are the materials. The second part of the weight stripping process would involve the removing and substituting of other miscellaneous parts. These will include steering wheels, seats, wheels, exhausts, windows. These parts will all be changeable as part of the weight saving options. Toe. Toe is an adjustment that moves the front ends of your wheels as viewed from above towards or away from each other. This affects your straight line stability. Toe in makes the car want to keep going in a straight line, whilst toe out makes it want to move off to one side. Ride height. Ride height goes hand in hand with your suspension upgrades for optimal centre of gravity, as well as the possibility of slamming for stance purposes. Now, back in episode 4, I presented you with my map concept, link to that is in the top right hand corner. The map that I designed incorporated off-road and mountainous sections, as well as elevation changes, so this tuning option will be a welcome addition. Gear tuning. Shorter or taller, gain full control of that transmission system and mould the timing between upshifts to what feels most comfortable for your build. I will also ensure you have the option of saving your gear ratio setups, so those of you who may have grip, drift and drag tunes will be able to change them on the fly without having to go back to a garage. Anti-roll bars. Anti-roll bars produce increased stability, which will be essential when putting together a grip or drag build, essentially allowing the car to be more planted by way of reducing body roll. Many people look at anti-roll bars as some sort of tinsel-based decor on a chav's Christmas tree, but speaking from experience of helping put together a track day car 2 years ago, I can confirm that they actually do make a difference. Drivetrain conversion. Purists will more than likely avoid this area, but to keep up with the theme of choice, you'll have the ability to switch your car between front wheel drive, rear wheel drive and all wheel drive. There will be no best option here, as unlike some other games that offer this option, I will ensure that those who choose the all wheel drive option for ultimate traction will also have to deal with the additional weight load, which will obviously have impact on how the car handles and its characteristics. Engine conversion. Inline 4, flat 6, straight 6, V6, V8, V10, V12 and rotary. Pick your choice from a complete set, but just as with drivetrain conversion, every single engine type will have its own strengths and weaknesses. So for example, going for that big V12, will enjoy bags of performance with a huge horsepower advantage over your rivals, but at the same time, be prepared for your torque to drop off when it hits mid-range. Or maybe you're like me, meaning your preferred weapon of choice is the straight 6, which, when you attach a turbo, outputs great performance, although it suffers at low RPM levels. In my version of Need for Speed 2017, the days of just picking the part with the biggest number are long gone, as an element of thought will be required. Now, I remember very clearly that when Need for Speed 2015 was unveiled to the world, the reason Ghost and EA gave us for only being allowed 5 cars in our garage was that they wanted us to have more of a deeper relationship with the cars we had bought. While in theory it sounds great, the reality was it didn't really turn out that way. You see, one of the ways we as humans show we care about something is through love and maintenance. Couple of examples. I care about my health, so I try to limit the amount of crappy food I consume. Dog owners love their dogs and ensure they are not only comfortable in cold weather with body warmers, but also maintain their health with trips to the vet when they become sick. Cars need looking after as well. I want to introduce the concept of degradation, which is not to be confused with collision damage. It's not the same. You see, just like in real life, in my concept for Need for Speed 2017, I will design it so that your car will start to accumulate wear and tear, which means certain parts will require servicing or changing. These parts will include tyres, brake pads, brake fluid, clutches, gearbox, oil, whole engine rebuilds, air filters, suspension, and alternators. These will run down and acquire wear throughout the car's lifespan and your ownership of it. But what if your car seems okay and you just want to give it a general health checkup? No worries, as your garage will be fitted with a dyno machine which you will be able to use to find out exactly what your vehicle was putting out by way of horsepower and torque output measurements. Now, admittedly, all of the above seems like a hell of a lot of work, right? That's the reason why you will have to hire a garage crew. Yes, in my game design, your garage will have a 3-man crew, all tasked with keeping you winning on the streets and looking good in the hood. Your crew will consist of a mechanic who will be in charge of servicing and fitting new parts to the car, a tuning specialist who will look to optimize your car's performance, and a designer who will be in charge of designing wraps for your cars based on the preferences you give her. They will all work with you, but also independently. Throughout the game, they will inform you of their findings whilst you are out tearing up the streets. The mechanic will give you a heads up when one or more of your parts require servicing by way of text messages to your in-game mobile cell phone. The tuner and the designer will use the same method of contact when, in the case of the tuner, he has found a new tuning setup for your race type, or in the case of the designer, when she has put together a new design concept for your car based on the colour and style directives you gave her. Now, your garage will also act as your main base of operations, and you will have to upgrade your garage in order to stage up your parts. So what does that mean exactly? Allow me to explain. A V8 engine will come in 3 stages, stage 1, 2 and 3, with 3 being the highest. In order to unlock the most powerful version of that V8, you have to do so by using your in-game XP to level up your garage, thus unlocking the part and making it available to purchase. You will obviously have to get to stage 2 before reaching 3. This same method of staging up will apply for all viable tuning parts we have spoken about in this video. This will also be true of your garage crew. So, using the tuner as an example, a stage 1 tuner will offer you basic tune setups which will be seen as safe or generic. a stage 2 tuner will give you more accurate tuning with bigger variances taking into consideration terrain, surface and types of weather. The Top Dog Stage 3 Tune Specialist will do everything that a Stage 2 tuner can do, but critically will be able to give you an individually specific tune for each car you own, taking into consideration that car's characteristics as well as looking at your driving style and basically devising a tuning setup that complements your style whilst allowing you to extract maximum performance. And as an added touch, whilst you're leveling up your garage, you will see the whole garage go through various cosmetic changes over due time, from an oily, rat-infested back alley shackles to a full-on performance studio with central heating and air conditioning too. And there you have it, my conceptual proposal or blueprint or design, whatever you want to call it, for the tuning section of the yet to be announced Need for Speed Arena 2017. Guys, as always, thank you so much for watching. I massively appreciate it. This was quite a tricky episode to do because it took me a while to, really understand what would be worth putting into the game as a viable option to improve the way in which we tune. I didn't want to just come at it by just, offering new parts and new options. I wanted to bring a new concept altogether, and I hope I've done that with the idea of having a pit crew and an upgradable garage as well. Tell me what you thought in the comments. What do you think? How can we improve this? Is it what you would expect? Is it what you want? Is it rubbish? Let me know. Give me some sort of idea, give me some sort of feedback. As I mentioned at the beginning, episodes 1, 2, 5 are going to be in the description box for you to click. They're also going to be at the very end of this video in a nice neat playlist for you to click. So let this video play to the end and be sure to check that playlist out. There is going to be another episode. As always, I'm not going to guarantee which day it's going to fall on. Keep subscribed or subscribe if you're new to find out when that will be, but it will more than likely be within the next week or so. If it's your first time around here, I wish you a warm welcome. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and I'll see you when the next video comes out. Peace.